In this video, we're going to learn how we can take advantage of scalping BTC on a daily time frame. Now, in order to scalp BTC, we need to be using order flow, and we need an exchange that's going to be able to execute the trades very, very fast. So if you go down to my YouTube channel, you can click on this link here, Lbank, and it'll bring you to this page. You can register now, open an account. You also get a 220% deposit bonus plus super trading rewards. What is the super trading rewards? Super trading rewards is the more you trade, the more USDT airdrop this exchange will give you, which is fantastic because now you're growing your portfolio in two ways. You're taking trades and you're getting technically paid for taking those trades. Now, when we look at BTC, there's always different levels that BTC can bounce from. So we're going to go to the 5-minute time frame. We're going to look at this simple strategy that you can apply today and trade with on Lbank. So we're looking at the price action of BTC. The first thing we're going to need to apply here is a couple of indicators. It's the only indicators that I use. First one is VWAP. So you can go to VWAP. It's free. This one. And what I've done in the settings is I've removed these, and I'm going to change this color to orange and slightly thicken it. Second indicator is going to be called Chart Champions Part 1. This is very important as well. So we're just going to put those onto the chart itself. And we can see from here that there's a couple of levels. In the current time of recording this video, we can see that we are getting rejected at the PDEQ, which is a previous day equilibrium. And when price actually comes down to PD low or the previous week EQ, we want to see some type of buy pressure to take a long position on the 5-minute time frame. So let me just get this out. On a 5-minute time frame, we want to take a long position, and our target is going to be this VWAP. So it's a quick scalp with a point, I would say a 0.2% stop loss, because if we do lose that level, we want to look for this one. But we can't just take these trades blindly. So this is where we go to the second step. So you want to go over to marketmonkeyterminal.com, and this is free. We're not going to be using this side of the actual software, and we want to put that onto a 5-minute time frame as well. And what we want to be looking for is we actually want to be looking at if we are going to get any buy pressure coming in or longs stepping in. So the first thing we need to do is we need to go there and select footprint cluster. Like this. It looks a bit complicated, but we're going to sort it out. Second thing we're going to do is we're going to select USD. Now we can see from this profile here that the longs are empowering over the shorts. Yeah, so we look at it this way diagonally. But we want to go back to an example so you understand, because there is no active trade currently. So if we have go back, say in this zone here, which was Monday, we want to see what actually happened here. What was going on here? Why did price really rise all the way above VWAP, found support, then fell? So what we're going to do is we're going to go to this time frame, which is Monday, approximately 14:45. So we'll go to Monday. That is Tuesday. No, we've got to go back a bit more. I think we're going to be here. This is, yep, looks good. Okay, so we can see from here Looks a bit complicated, looks a bit intimidating, but it's not really. We just want to look at this profile, which is going to be the same area as here. So we can see this 0 here, okay, which is an inefficiency. So we can see a lot of shorts were coming down, forcing the price actually down. And then we had in the next a inefficiency, which is here, because what happened here, the price started to lift up because we saw more longs stepping in. So the shorts were getting absorbed. We can actually see that on the next candle more clearly. 3.2 versus 10, 13 versus 17, yeah, 14 versus 16. This basically means more longs were coming in. This on the chart here is here. This is a long entry, yeah. This is a long entry, and you want to put your stop loss. So we have a look at that wick. You want to put your stop loss. So if we was to take this trade, well, I think I did take this trade. You want to put your stop loss, very tight stop loss. You want to use something like a point, I would say a 0.2 stop loss, because you could get stopped out and your target would be the VWAP. Yeah. So this is a good example of how you can take a scalp position, a day trade, into the VWAP. We need to see buy pressure, and you can use this software to use buy pressure. This software is pretty good. I don't use it all the time. I use Excel charts because I have my own special templates on there. So if you do want to really get learn scalping and scalping every crypto asset and Bitcoin, you can contact me on Telegram or on X. And I do personal coaching. But coming back to this example, we can see that the longs were now stepping in and overpowering the shorts. And what did we see? We saw a continuation up. Now, when we do actually take a long position underneath the actual VWAP, remember, we want to see buy pressure. Okay, we want to see, because you can't see that in these candles, but you can see it here. Yeah. So this is a simple strategy. You want to see that on the footprint, more longs stepping in. Yeah, and your target is going to be a quick scalp. And you could go, it doesn't matter about leverage here, what leverage you use, or what matters is position size and your stop loss. A stop loss has to be very tight. It's a scalp position. So, you know, if you did enter, let's say you entered on, where was that? That was 104,653, yeah? So 104,653 is approximately there. Okay, so your stop loss is going to be 0.2. Your target would have been the VWAP. Well, TP1 would have been the VWAP. Okay, so from there, so let's say you went in for one Bitcoin position size for the sake of this video. That's you're risking $200 to make $1,100. But let's say you went for 0.1 position size. You're technically risking $21 to make $110. So that's not too bad. You know, it's not too bad at all. So that's a good trade. But what if we're above the VWAP? What happens then? So let's have a look at this zone here, because what we can actually see is that price did come above the VWAP, then lost the VWAP, then came above the VWAP, then lost the VWAP, then came above the VWAP. Let's have a look what's going on here. So we want to go back to this time zone, which would have been Monday 1750. Okay, Monday 1750. Monday 1750 is over here. Okay, let me just double check that. Okay, so what we see here is very simple. We see a lot of shorts shorting the actual VWAP. Yeah, so they're trying to force the price down. We can see that from here, 15 versus 8, 11 versus 15. So we saw longs. This is a battle. So we don't want to really trade this in this area when they're actually battling. What we want to see is we want to wait to see how many times the VWAP has been tested successfully, because this is not a successful test. This is not a successful test, and this is not a successful test. Let me go back to an example that isn't a successful test. So if we have a look at this range here, we can see that on the 5-minute time frame, this is a perfect example. On the 5-minute time frame, price was doing very, very similar to what I've just shown you just now. But then we had a successful breakout. We had a back test. There's your back test. So that's a perfect back test. There you would have a look at order flow to see if longs are stepping in for a continuation up. So this is a good example of where you could have taken a good trade. In fact, I'm going to show you a couple of trades just after this example here that were done live. So this is a very good trade. I mean, you look at that, that's a $3,000 move from this here. So look, with the VWAP, with the actual VWAP, you can actually extend your stop loss to about 0.5. You know, so for one Bitcoin position, risking $558 to make $3,173. Not a bad trade at all. These are the type of trades that I take. And when BTC is sitting around doing nothing, you can actually use this concept on altcoins. So that's a good example. Where can we else see a good example? Here's another good example. This happens all the time. Got a test there, and a test there. But that test failed, but this was a good test. Okay, the reward is crap, but it doesn't matter. You know, I mean, you could have took this trade here with a 0.17 stop loss. So you're risking nothing, hardly anything. So you're risking like $16 to make $80 on a 0.1 position size. Not the best trade. But when you start adding these up on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, like I do, oh, you know, you make money basically, you know, but you need a fast exchange. You need an exchange that can execute these orders very, very fast. So coming back to order flow, when we have a look, I want to show you a better example. Let me have a look at this over here. Let's have a look at this example here, which was Wednesday the 5th of November. This is a very good example. So we can see a double bottom here. We can see that we did have, I can just see from the candles, I don't need to go back to order flow. You can go back to order flow using these softwares and check this out. But this would have been a very good scalp trade with a very tight stop loss. See, the good thing about these VWAP trades are the stop loss is easy to apply, yeah, and the risk to reward is very good. I mean, you can risk a 0.25 stop loss, and look, rejection VWAP. You had a second opportunity where it actually broke above the VWAP, but look, price came back down, tested it. 3 tests are very, very good. So you could not, you don't have to enter on the first test. You can enter on the second test. Let's go to the second test. Okay, so we're in that price range now. You can actually apply the VWAP indicator on here. I don't really find it. I find the trading review one works a lot better, to be honest. Maybe they will make this better, but obviously I use Exo charts, so I have dynamic VWAPs. And if you want to learn about my dynamic VWAP strategy, you can actually contact me on Telegram and book in for a consultation. But we can see right here that on that price there, we saw a lot of long stepping in. We can see that from the order flow, 26 million, and long stepping in here, long stepping in here, forcing the price up. So you actually want to see, the point is, how do I enter? So you actually want to see shorts coming into the VWAP aggressively. There, 26 million shorts trying to short the VWAP. I mean, come on, guys. That's pretty bad. That's a recipe for a continuation up. So they got squeezed, and we can see they were just getting squeezed. We had another test here. More shorts trying to short the VWAP. Another squeeze up. And we can see the longs just continued coming up. That's what you want to see. You want to see this side here increasing in millions, because we're looking at this in millions in volume, not in coin. And to take profit, I can't really tell you where to take the profit, but you can see that if you did take that trade there, that was that one there, right? Because we had a second test there where we added in. So look, that trade there, even if you took profit there for 104, 430, I mean, if you use if you used a 0.21 stop loss, you still wouldn't have got stopped out. But if you use like a 0.35 stop loss or a 0.4 stop loss, you still wouldn't have got stopped out. And once price did come back and test this and it continued up, you could actually take some profit and lock in the trade. What does that mean? You're going to put this stop loss to entry. Now you've got free trade to ride up wherever it gets rejected. Talking about rejection, let's talk about rejection. So where does price normally reject? Not normally, but what indicator can we see that where price can reject? Well, if we had seen the price on that day, what you want to see is you want to look at these levels: PD low, PD QQ, and PD high. Usually what happens if you are buying underneath the VWAP, it's probably going to be in this zone here, and your rejection points are going to be VWAP or PD high. If the price can get above PD high, you want to let the trade continue. But if it gets rejected at PD high, we can see this PD high has actually moved now from yesterday, but we can see rejection, 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 rejection. No, we broke out through that and we got rejected as well today as well at PD high. Or no, we broke down from PD high. So yesterday was getting rejected, but this has actually moved slightly. And I've also find that the PD high, so look, we got rejected there on PD high. So that VWAP trade that could have been taken from here got rejected at PD high. So if you see the asset move above PD high, that's a good continuation. That we're going to continue. Now, the other thing is on this indicator, which is very, very good, is it shows that the naked point of control. So we've got a naked point of control here where price front ran. So we didn't actually tap that. Do we have any underneath? I'm pretty sure we do. We have a naked point of control, 108. 108 for scalping. This doesn't really matter, but if you are going to be taking, say, your scalp turns into a position trade, so let's say you took a long here right now, looking at order flow, etc. You need those confirmations, tight stop loss. This does look like it's going to play out anyway. I mean, I'm looking at the other screen. So your first resistance will be VWAP. Second one will be PD high. If it goes above PD high, let the trade continue. Remember to put your stop loss at entry and take your first TP at VWAP. If this asset is above the VWAP, then it's a different story, because we're looking for very higher prices, much higher than PDI. But we can see we were fighting with VWAP here. So I mean, you can scalp this. This is still scalpable. Really is scalpable. You can actually scalp this range. I mean, it's scalpable, but are you going to make a lot of money out of this scalp? No, you're not really going to make that much money, but anybody who's seasoned in this will know how to scalp this, like myself, and still $800, per that move there to there. Sorry, it's not $800. It's actually $700. My apologies. But if you did held on to the trade, you could took this one, this one, this one. I mean, that's still a lot of. It's still a lot of money you can make in this range. There's money you can make in Bitcoin in all these ranges. You can just print money. And obviously, this would have been a good trade, but I was asleep. I did not take that. Now I'm going to show you an example of a trade that I have taken live and some results that you can actually see by scalping this strategy as well. Thank you for watching the video, and please note that Lbank is doing this special offer of 220% deposit bonus. It will close soon. You've only got till the end of the month to take this fantastic offer of this exchange that they are offering us. And this is Market Monkey, which is a free software. You can get the pro version, which is very good. But I actually teach these strategies and my dynamic VWAP strategy in Excel charts. And if you're interested in that, please contact me. My contact information is in the link of this video. Thank you. So I'm just having a quick look at this order flow. Plus, I also have my other order flow software on the other screen. But since we are trialing this software, which is okay, it's free, so that's good. I'm going to be taking a scalp position on BTC. So I'm trading this on Lbank, and I've got $10,000 in this account. So I'm just going to flip that to a 4-hour for 1 second and go back to my order flow. I want to start filling in some positions technically at levels of about 99,000. We see some orders here, resting orders. I don't rely on these resting orders because they can get pulled out. So I want to see what actually happens here. We have a lot of aggressive selling going on currently at the moment. So we actually have front run this, but looking at the order flow itself and the DOM, I am going to be taking a long position right now. I've entered a 0.5 half Bitcoin position because I see the right parameters in this order. Well, not the parameters, but I see the right information that I want to see, and I'm only targeting the VWAP. You can see we're getting rejected at PD low as expected. I did aim for the VWAP, but I am going to be closing this trade because profit is profit.